Okay, so for heat, on a hot and sunny day, what would happen if I set my popsicle down on the front porch? And hopefully the students will be very engaged at this point, telling me like, you left your popsicle on the front porch. And hopefully they will tell me that it would melt, and I unfortunately would no longer have a popsicle but a puddle of sugary soup. Now I will ask them, now why did my popsicle melt? Which will also encourage that higher learning, not only knowing if I set my popsicle out on the front porch that it will melt, but why would that happen? Is it because of the temperature? And if it's because of the temperature, what is causing that? What caused my popsicle to go from being a solid to being a liquid? Hopefully my students will also be able to answer this question again, that when heat comes from the sun, the temperature rises, and once I take that popsicle out from the freezer, out from the cold place, and put it into the hot place, it will go from being a solid to a liquid because the heat is causing a physical change. Okay, so then here's another example that I would use for my students. If I accidentally put my soup into my freezer instead of my fridge, what would happen to it? And here, once again, I want my students to know and to be able to explain to me not only that if you put something in the freezer, it will freeze, but why? Now, why would my soup freeze? Because it is cold in the freezer versus it being room temperature out in the room. And that coldness, that temperature change, is what's causing that state change, that physical state change. And then what caused my soup to go from being a liquid to a solid? That temperature, that change in temperature. And I'm going to ask them, do you have any other examples of different types of phase changes? Hopefully have them write some in their notebooks or share with the class. If they want to come up and stand in front of the class, that'll be great too as well. But not spending way too much time doing that because we do have an activity to do today. So today we're going to be creating a states of matter chart as a class. Now this is kind of the point where I'd probably take the PowerPoint down and explain to the students after pulling out my poster board and handing out all of their utensils such as sticky notes and writing utensils that today I'm going to be seeing how much they've learned, and we're going to be categorizing the states of matter. Now on this example right here, it says solid, liquid, and gas. On my own, I would only have it saying solids and liquids. And for the little sticky notes, I would tell them to give two examples of one of the states. So give me two examples of solids and give me two examples of liquids, as well as giving me two properties of solids and two properties of liquids. So an example, if I did this and one of my students, say she sat up front, she might want to give two examples of the solid being a crystal, like a crystal rock, because she's probably looking around the room. I might have like a rock collection or a bookshelf or different things that she can look for inspiration. So hopefully she'll look around and see something. So one example would be that, and like a property would be that it's hard. It has a defined shape. And then moving on from there, after we've completed that entire thing, we will then be moving on to lab, which I also explained a lot more in my lesson plan. Basically, what I'll be having my students do is fill up an ice tray with liquid water and adding in their own little personalization, such as like glitter and stickers and Legos, like random little figurines, things like that, and filling it up with liquid water, us taking it back to the class as a group, putting it into the freezer, the next day coming in, taking it out of the freezer, writing down and noting the physical changes that it went through, and then taking out the ice cubes, popping them into a bowl, setting them over by the window, and then watching that phase change also happen throughout the day and asking the students why that occurred. So that has been my presentation. I unfortunately was not paying attention to the time, so I really hope that this is about 15 minutes. And I really hope that this camcorder was working. I hope you have a great rest of your semester. We are almost done, and thank you so much for a great semester. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed this course. If you have any recommendations, please feel free to reach out to me because I can use all the help that I can get. And I hope you have a great rest of your year.